What's up everybody, welcome to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be revealing my hourly break and retest strategy. This is by far my most successful strategy and what I'm looking for in the market most of the time. I will be breaking down to you step by step exactly how I look for these setups, the confirmations that I use to take entries, and then ultimately how I execute the trade. But first, if you do get value from this video, please be sure to leave it a like. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this strategy, and then subscribe to the channel for daily and weekly trading content just like this. As you know, typically markets do not move straight up or straight down, but rather they create these impulse-like patterns in the market, whether you're trending up or whether you are trending down. You are getting these lower lows and lower highs, or higher highs and higher lows. So for the strategy to work, we want to be in a trending market. It doesn't matter if the market is trending up or trending down, so long as you are in a trend. So ultimately what I'm looking for with this strategy is simply for this structure to play out, where we are creating either lower lows and lower highs or higher highs and higher lows, trending one way or the other. We end up creating a level of support or resistance and then retesting it after breaking it. So in this situation, what we had was a level of support, right, that was broken. It was then retested right here. And then at this point is when I would start looking for an entry to get that continuation to the downside. And for my particular strategy, since I am an intraday trader, I am usually looking at the 1 hour and 4 hour time frame to find my significant levels of support and resistance. And then what I'll do is I'll drop it down to the 30-minute time frame to actually get a much better entry. So taking a look here at CAD JPY on the 1 hour time frame, we could see a perfect example of my 1 hour break and retest strategy playing out. What we had was the break of a significant level of support on the hourly time frame. At this point, once we had broken and closed below that level of support, I was simply just waiting for a pullback up into this level as a level of resistance. I'm waiting for some rejections so that way I can get this continuation to the downside. So after a little bit of time waiting, we actually did get this pull back up into this level of resistance, now testing it as a possible rejection area. But what I don't do with this strategy is simply sell just because we're up into this area. What I'm waiting for now is a confirmation of rejection. I don't want to just blindly take sells right here, because you have to understand, even though we are having bearish structure on the hourly and 4 hour time frame, on the lower time frames, this little trend right here is coming up. So what happens if we take sells and then this trend just continues to the upside? We end up getting stopped out. So what I'm looking for is a rejection off of this level of resistance to tell me that the market is ready to reverse and continue this downtrend the other way. So this is when I actually drop it down to the 30-minute time frame and start looking for my valid entries. And really, my two main valid entry confirmations are engulfing candles and double top / double bottom patterns. Engulfing candles are an extremely high probability sign of reversal in the market, which is why I use them as a confirmation for entry when they're happening off of one of my valid levels. And a double top or a double bottom pattern is when you have two equal highs or two equal lows that are rejecting off of a level of support or resistance. So in this case on CAD JPY, if we speed through a little bit, what we can see is that we actually got a 30-minute engulfing candle off of this level of resistance. Now this was my first potential valid entry. At this point, what you could do is take shorts right at that level, place your stop loss a good bit away above this level of resistance as an area of invalidation, and then target the downside for this next possible move down. And in this case, entering on that engulfing candle would have absolutely been a valid entry and it would have resulted in a nice win. But actually on this setup as well, what we also had was a second valid entry confirmation, which was our double top entry confirmation. If you look right here, what we can see is two equal highs, two failures off of that level of resistance, signaling to us that this market is ready to actually reject and continue to the downside. So if you didn't enter on that initial bearish engulfing candle entry, what you could have done at this point was enter on this double top confirmation, place your stop loss above this level of resistance, and then target the downside. And this would have actually been a much better entry because you would have gone into zero drawdown, and ultimately this would have been an absolutely amazing trade. And what's interesting about this trade is that CAD JPY was so bearish that actually later on in the session, it gave another valid entry for an hourly break and retest. And if we continue fast forwarding through here, what we can see is that we had an hourly break below this level of support. Now, once we have broken, we'd simply be waiting for a pullback into this level as an area of resistance, and then possible continuation to the downside off of that level. So if you did miss this original move, or maybe you even wanted to scale in another position, that would be a good place to do that. And you can see that once again, this hourly break and retest strategy played out. We got the retest of that level, we got our valid confirmations of rejection off of that level, and then it continued to the downside once more. So this hourly break and retest strategy is a very, very high probability strategy strategy that not only yields a high risk to reward on your wins, but also has a relatively high win rate. So essentially, this strategy can be broken down into 3 distinct steps. The first is that you're looking for a trend in the market and you want to be trading with the trend. The next step is looking for breaks and retests of significant levels of support or resistance on the hourly time frame. And the third and final step is that once you get that retest, you're looking for candle confirmation patterns to signal your entry. If all 3 steps of this setup are valid, you get a valid entry confirmation, you have a very high probability of winning the trade and a very high risk to reward. Using this hourly break and retest strategy, you can get extremely high risk to reward trades, and you can see in this case that if you would have let your trade run, it would have been about an 8.2 risk to reward. So your wins are always going to be much larger than your losses while using this strategy. And just really quickly, I want to show you this strategy working going the other direction with actually a long bias, created a higher high, a higher low, a higher high. We came back down to retest this level of resistance that was broken as support, potentially creating that higher low for continuation to the upside. At this point, we got our valid entry confirmation with a very significant bullish engulfing candle off of this level of support. So right, we had a level of resistance, we broke through that level of resistance, we retested it as a level of support, and then got a bullish engulfing candle off of that level. At this point, you could have taken a long entry with your stops below this level as support, targeted the continuation to the upside, and what you can see is that in this case, this gold trade would have played out absolutely beautifully. Now, not only did we get a valid bullish engulfing candle entry, but we also got a double bottom entry here as well. So either way, you could have entered and you would have gotten a valid entry confirmation on this setup. So I hope this strategy breakdown actually helps you find setups like this in the market. I use this strategy all the time. It's my most successful strategy, and most of the time I'm looking for these types of setups in the market. If you want to join a completely free Discord trading community focused around Forex, go ahead and click the link down in the description. This community is absolutely packed full of value and it is completely free to join, so you might as well jump on in there and see what it has to offer. If you did get value from this video, please be sure to leave it a like. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this strategy, and of course subscribe to the channel for more trading content. With that being said, I'll see you in the next video.